Hey YouTube, this is Bilal and welcome back to the second episode of my 10-gallon reef tank build. Like I promised 2 days ago that I would do an update on my tank after I do the water change. My tank was really dirty. It had algae growth all over my rocks and my glass. So today I went ahead this morning and did a 30% water change. Um, if you look at my tank, the rocks actually are much cleaner than before. I scrubbed it with a brush, cleaned most of the rock, and then I also cleaned the glass. They're not perfect. There's a little bit of green algae left over, a little bit in the back. But for the most part, it is all cleaned. My corals are actually very happy. If you remember, in my first video, I showed I had a little container that I made holes in. It was kind of like my frag rack, which I kept in the back corner. So that's no longer there no more because I have placed my corals on the rocks today. So one thing I want to go over before I get into the corals is that today when I did my water change, what happened was I actually turned off the heater and I turned on the filter, I turned everything off basically. Now, the one thing I was worried about was the water that was already in the tank if the temperature was going to drop. I did research online and a lot of people did turn off their heaters, so I went ahead and did the same. But I'll let you know one thing is that if you're going to take a lot of time to do water changes, there is a possibility that your water will probably drop in temperature a lot. If you have, can I speak? So if you have fresh mixed salt water that you made, if you have a heater to help heat it up, especially during the winters like it is here right now in California, specifically Sacramento, you want to make sure that your fresh mixed salt water is at 78 degrees or whatever degrees you have your display tank set up at. You want to match the same temperature. So what I did wrong, or what I did bad, was I actually made my fresh mix of salt water today. They usually say, a lot of people say you should leave it overnight so that your salinity, it reaches to it doesn't creep up if you, basically you reach the correct salinity overnight rather than taking a shot at just mixing the water for an hour and then putting the water into your tank. So actually I let my fresh water mix for about 2 hours and just made sure that my salinity was at the right level, which is 1.026 or 0.025. The heater that I used to heat the water it actually didn't heat my water, the fresh mix, that very well. It was still kind of cold, but I had the heater in there for about 2 hours and the water still didn't felt like it was 78 degrees. The thing with the heater was that it's actually scaled to be good for 10 to 20 gallons. So one thing I learned is that if you're gonna make some fresh salt water, make sure you let it reach the correct temperature overnight. So next time if I do it, I'll probably do it overnight rather than doing it the morning of my water change. So that's something you don't want to do. One more thing I want to point out: last time I did a water change on there, I actually let the heater stay on. And back here, if you look, this is the water level, right? So when I turned the filter off, that water level dropped. And the heater was still on, and like they say on the instructions, do not leave your heater out of the water. And guess what I did? I left it. Half of the heater was out of the water, and I didn't notice this. I mean, it was unintentional, but I didn't notice this, but I started hearing a little sizzle. And I'm like, oh crap. So I saw a little bit of smoke coming from it. Not smoke, but like a little bit of, you can see a little heat dissipating. And I'm like, oh crap. So what I did was I turned the filter back on, so this gets submerged in water again. I did look at the heater to make sure that it didn't crack, and luckily it did not crack. I'm so happy, because some people say that it could actually explode, or it could shatter, which could be bad for the water. So I guess I just got lucky. So that's one thing I want to point out. So if you do water change, make sure that either your heater stays on and submerged underwater. So if you have it in the main display tank, make sure it's under the level where you're going to remove the water. If not, turn your heater off and just do a quick water change. Don't take a lot of time doing water changes, because if the water and display tank, if the degrees drops too low, it may not be good for your livestock. So that's that. And then, so the cool thing today was I actually went ahead, removed that little container that I had the coral frag plugs that I stuck them into. I removed that. I took the frag plugs. Now, I was wondering how to remove the sticks on the frag plugs so that I could glue the little plugs onto my rock. So I kind of read up online, and a lot of people used bone crushers or bone clippers. So I used that to actually snap off the sticks on the frag plugs. And that is very easy, to be honest. Like, you just gotta put a little bit of pressure on there, and they just come off. Next time when I do get more corals, I will definitely show you guys how to do that. Now, see, look at this. All my sand is clean. I clean my sand as well too. I use my siphon to help clean that out. It's just the back that's left a little bit. There's a little bit of algae there, but next time that'll be done as well too. So for the corals, I used the BSI Ice Gel Coral Frag Glue. Now this stuff actually works very well. Now when you go on Amazon.com, and this was where I got this from, or if you go on BRS.com, there are a lot of people that left comments that this is very runny. It's not very like the new formula is not as good as the old formula. But when I opened this up and I used it, it actually was very thick. It wasn't runny. So from my perspective, this is actually a very good glue to use to put your if you have your corals on a frag plug, to put your attach your frag plugs to your coral, to your rock. So, but one thing is this, with this glue, so what I did was actually I removed the rocks that I wanted to put the frags on. I removed the rock, and then I glued it outside of the tank rather than in the tank. The only one I did in the tank was this. So I took some of the glue, I put it on the skeleton of the coral on the bottom, and then I let it set for about 5 seconds, and then I put it inside and I just put it on top of the rock and let it just attach to it. So some people say this glue is not very good to use inside the water, but it worked for me. One thing you're going to watch out for is when you do use this glue, you wear gloves, because it does stick to your hand. And you want to avoid getting the glue on the the skin or the actual tissue of the corals. And I actually end up doing that. But the Favia, the G.I. Joe Favia that I have right here, it's doing good. So I guess I got lucky. I'm not sure, but yeah. So this is very good glue. I do recommend it. And I would definitely show you guys how to glue frags or corals onto rocks next time when I get new corals. Now, if you look at my coral, they're actually encrusting very well on the frag plug that it came on. I have some algae buildup on the frag plug, but I try to remove as much as I can. One thing, so I got these from Rose White Corals. So they do actually have a very good quarantine system that they put their corals through. Like if you look at this, look at that. It's very healthy. Oh yeah, this is the Woman Watermelon Zoa, and this is the Bob Marley Zoa. So this one right here, when I pulled it out of the tank, it looked like this one had aptasia on the back. Now, it was a very small one. I tried to pull it off, but I don't know if I really did or not. These were closed, and it looked like the aptasia was kind of hiding in the back. So what I thought was aptasia, I tried to pull it off. I did, but we'll see if it comes back. I'll give you an update on that. But yeah, these doing very well. If you look at the bottom of them, there's that glue that attached to the rock. So they're doing very well for now. So I'll let you know if these actually encrust over the rocks. But if you look right here, it has its tentacles out. I think it thinks it's about to get fed. So I'm gonna probably go, and there's my skunk cleaner shrimp. He's very happy, and because of the water change that I did today. Oh, and then also, since I did the water change, like I mentioned last time, that I was gonna buy Cayman Pure Blue. So I did buy it. So this is basically a combination of GFO and carbon. So that will hopefully get rid of the phosphate that I have built up in this tank, which was causing the algae bloom. So I will give you an update next Friday. So I'm gonna let this tank run for about a week to see how it goes. Any issues, any problems that do come up throughout the week, I will update you on the next video. Alright? Thank you for being on my channel. If you're new to my channel or you have not yet subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, give it a like, and to make sure you are updated to my latest updates, go ahead and click on the notification bell. All right, peace out.